Hi and welcome to the channel. My name is Heiko. This video is about workbench upgrades. Why workbench upgrades? There are tons of videos out there and all the guys, they claim that they found the perfect solution for a workbench. But guess what? There's no such thing than a perfect workbench. It might be good for that task, for the space available, for that budget, or for the time you have to spend to build it. But you know, if you set up your shop, you kind of evolving. You get new tools, different skills, maybe your focus even changed to a certain kind of work like traditional woodworking. Then you need a different workbench. And I encourage you not to throw away what you have here, more to modify. And this is what I want to do here. I show you how easy you can modify your workbench and bring it to the next level without spending a fortune on new stuff. Alright, to have a common starting point, I want to explain you what I have here. I built two of these workbenches years ago. They are 4 by 2 inches on top, and I built two of them. They are on casters. That allows me to shift it around a little bit and move it to the next room. That was important, as I'm not working in the same space, and if I have to do something messy, I even can roll it out of the garage door and work there. Brilliant. And I can clamp it to each other so that I have a work area of 2 by 8 inches for long objects, or attach the other one right in front here so that I have a very huge work area. And they have the same height as my table saw. They can serve as an outfeed table. That's for the surface. As you can see, this is made from beechwood, 3/4 inch or 80 millimeters. I constructed from this board material, I constructed kind of L-shape corners. They are connected with another L shape, so this is very stiff and not too heavy. It's really stiff, and it gives you plenty of possibilities to clamp. If I have the second workbench aside, I can clamp them together so that they won't go anywhere. This is something that I want to maintain. The area down here, I changed. You see, there's a lot of space, and I changed the tools that are in there several times. But for the second workbench in the other room, there's a kind of fixed setup that I want to have. The top, this is OSB, very nice, very cheap, always flat. You can cut in it, you can drill in it, and if it is messed up, you flip the sides, done. And if both sides are not nice anymore, you can exchange. But you know, this piece is on this workbench, never flipped, 5 years or a little bit more, and it's still okay. Yeah, it's not nice because of the color spills, but that's most from my kids. But it's alright. No complaints, works. I want to change that for the other workbench as I do more traditional woodworking there, and I want to have a surface where you can more easily see if you have a wood shaving on top or a metal shaving that might screw up your fine work pieces. So this is something I want to change on the other workbench. This stays the same. Order I mentioned, and there's one thing I need. I have a small workshop. I need mobility. So, and I brought heavy-duty casters down there. I think you can put 1,000 pounds or something on it. I had 300 kg already on this thing, so 600 and a little bit pounds. But on the other hand, it's rocking. Not too bad, but if you use your hand plane and you attach your workpiece and it's always shaking like this, you can live with that if you use it occasionally. But especially if I do a video and the work area is always rocking like this, it's annoying, and I do it more often. So I found out a kind of solution I want to build. I show you. I want to have a fixed workbench on the ground, rock solid, and on the other hand staying mobile. I show you what I thought about and what I built in a minute.
First problem to solve here for me is the rocking and shaking of the workbench. So I removed the casters and I made some nice cutouts for new feet. I took beechwood, scrap wood pieces, glued and screwed into the L-shaped corners of my table, and I left a huge cutout between the legs. Why? I want to make my workbench mobile again with retractable casters, and usually you just screw them to the side of your feet so that you can reach them and make your workbench mobile again by elevating it. But if you that works if you have an overhanging countertop, but my workshop and my workbench concept is different, as I want to place them next to each other so that I can't have anything overhanging on the outside, and it would trip wiring me all the time. So I decided to bring the retractable casters between the feet, and therefore I need this little bigger cutout between it. But you will see it works like a charm, and you can easily reach them and they won't stick over. You can clean everything around the workbench without taking care of these overhanging pieces all the time. The second thing to cover now is the bench top. And as you can see, I had a lot of scraps laying around in the shop. I moved from left to right for years. This is mostly reclaimed wood, oak, mahogany, beech, pine. I brought together, cut it to strips, planed everything, and then I started to lay out a kind of patchwork on top of my bench top. And at the same time as I cleaned the wood and so on, I wanted to maintain the character. So there are holes and cracks and some battle scars, as this is reclaimed wood. I thought initially I will fill that up with a black wood filler, but this thing can be kind of pricey. I decided to give black hot glue a shot. And what can I say? It just works. It's cheap, it's easy. Yeah, just try it. Brilliant material for that kind of work. You see me now here doing the last steps for the surface, but for the sake of the video I have to jump back in time a little bit, as I did several things in parallel, but to make every step for you visible. Don't get confused, Benchtop is done, and at the same time I overhauled the bench vise. So yeah, I jump back a little bit, not too much, you will get the point.
Alright, the bench vise. I think it is a kind of religious thing for people. You have to have this and that kind of vise, but honestly, this was the cheapest vise available. I think I paid 29 bucks or something, and it really does what it is, what it's made for. I made two mistakes. First, I made two short guide rails for the tubes. You see it is moving a lot from left to right. This shake I think I can reduce if I do longer guidances for these rails, and I want to move this to the corner of the workbench. So if I want to cut something, I can't cut it close to the workbench. I have to cut it here, and that's, there's a lot of shaking going on here even if I clamp it. So yeah, I want to reduce that and move the whole vise. But I do not want to spend another 200 bucks just to have a nicer workbench vise, because this is all I need. What I'm here looking for is a very tight fit and right that works, so that I can use this as a template and drill through, and then I have a kind of guidance that everything is nice and flat. To make the cheek or the part of the vise a little bit bigger, I want to glue a part of or a piece of oak on top. I made a little slope here so that it is sticking out a little bit more on the upper corner. That's because if you clamp a piece of wood, the parts of the vise will tilt down a little bit and open up. So to maintain the pressure on the highest point here, I give that a little bit slope, and this is just to make the clamping a little bit nicer. For the connection, I do not want to rely just on glue, and you can do dovetails and stuff like that, or you can take dowels, and I do the dovetail light. So I drill one hole like this and one like this and so on, so that I have over the whole piece more connections, and they are in dovetail shape, so that they can cope a little bit better with the forces that you have during the clamping. Done, I'm finished. So I really like the outcome. Fantastic, order established, rock solid on its own feet, movable, nice countertop. I really like the design, even if it is a little bit random, and the new or reworked vise works like a charm. I like it. There's one thing I have to explain to you. On the flight, I kind of established this T-track. Why? I do not want to have any holes in the countertop, so no bench stocks, no nothing. I made this little backstop months ago, and I was pretty happy with it, as you can work with it. And I show you before I describe it. So you can just bring a piece of wood to that backstop and start working on it. But as you see, if you come here, you make the wood a little bit lighter, and yes, you can adjust it from the height and clamp it more here, but if you have it clamped down, it is clamped down. And I thought about how I can do that, and I built this little device. Just 2 pieces of plywood, and you can bring that to the end of the wood, and then use a little wedge in here, give it a tap, and it's going nowhere. So you can start working on it with more force. So this is why I established that one, and this will give me plenty of options for other material. Even it kind of substitutes me the kind of Moxon vise. If you have a very wide board to clamp in, I can use these pieces here and clamp a very wide board to the workbench as well, or use it as a second kind of clamp here at the end if I have a very long board to work on. This is a very nice thing. I really recommend thinking about installing T-tracks on the front side of your workbench. It gives you a lot of options. Alright, if you have any questions, suggestions, let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel, and I hope I see you next time around here with my new workbench. Happy crafting!